we're going to do some overall event information, which will be Steve's portion of tonight's webinar. We're going to talk about the entries for the powerlifting competition this year, the schedule and the venue for the competition, as well as rules updates and reminders. Then I'm going to touch on a few miscellaneous objects, and we will have a time for questions at the end. However, if you do have a question during the webinar, please feel free to raise your hand using the toolbar on your right, or you can always type in a question, and either Steve and I will get back to you as quickly as we can. All right, moving right along to Steve.
Great. Thank you, Kendall, and hello, everyone joining us this evening. I hope everyone's ready for a great fall sports festival. We're looking forward to having everybody up at the Mount St. Mary's University, their campus, as well as Fort Ritchie for the cycling competition. So, like Kendall said, I'll just go over some overall event information, and then Kendall, I'll hand it back over to Kendall, and she'll get into some of the specifics. So again, delegation registration is where all the coaches for each sport will come and collect the information regarding their specific sport. Again, it'll be one head coach per sport. That will be in the control center. On the main level of the Knott Arena, same place where opening ceremonies is. If you walk in on the side by the fields, you'll go up the stairs to the end of the hallway. If you come in from the front, it's on the main ground level. At that time, around 8:30, right after everyone checks in, delegations will assemble in the arena itself in preparation for the opening ceremony, which will start at 9 o'clock. Competition will then, once we do the changeover from the stage from opening ceremony, and then prepare for powerlifting, competition will begin around 10, give or take a few minutes here or there based on the changeover from the stage. Family hospitality, you can inform all of your families that there will be a location upstairs in the arena, right beside the control center in the hallway, and that's also where concessions will be sold for families and people who would like an additional meal throughout the day. New this year is our Young Athletes program. If you're not familiar with that, it's a program that Special Olympics offers for kids between the ages of 2 and 7 to start their gross motor skills and develop the skills at a younger age, and get prepared and become familiar with Special Olympics. And again, just engage those individuals at a younger age than we have in the past. That will be in the field house on the lower level of the Knott Arena, where the practice basketball courts are, immediately across the hall from where the opening ceremony will take place. And then I'm sure Kendall will touch on this, but awards will be awarded right after the powerlifting competition. In each coach's packet, there will be some information for your lifters, and obviously we'll talk about the weigh-ins in just a minute. Head coaches can pick up their packet there at the control center, which I mentioned. And the important thing there is also, if there's any athletes who are not coming for the day, make sure you let us know about any scratches you may have. For lunches, hopefully everyone had submitted their lunch forms. We do have everybody who we anticipate coming for powerlifting has turned in a lunch order form. So thank you for completing those. We've submitted those to Mount St. Mary's. And again, each county program for powerlifting will get their lunches delivered somewhere between 11 and 12:30 on that Saturday. Please do not start asking the management right at 11 o'clock where are our lunches. They will inform you when the lunches will be delivered. So just be patient. It will be sometime in between that time frame. And again, as a coach, you will pick up those lunches from a box and then be able to deliver those to the athletes you have from your program. Again, I did mention concessions will be available. Again, that's upstairs in the Knott Arena in the main hallway. The event guide was just right before the webinar, distributed to all the county programs, to the area or county director. We are hoping to have that event guide submitted and emailed to everyone from Powerlifting by tomorrow, close of business, so be on the lookout for that. The opening ceremony, we talked about the time frame for that. What we do ask is that each county program designate 2 individuals, whether it's 2 athletes, 2 partners, an athlete and a partner, that will carry the banner for your county program in during opening ceremony. Everyone else will be seated in the arena, but for your purposes as a coach of possibly only one sport from your county that will be there, please discuss it with your area county director and work through them in order to select the 2 athletes, partners from your program that will be selected to carry in those banners. And as soon as you have that figured out or selected, the individuals that will be doing that, please submit those to the regional sports director or let your county director again know, here's who I'm hoping can do it. They will submit those to us. Again, the ceremony will start about 9 o'clock. The delegates will report with the names, if we don't have them ahead of time, no later than 8:30 for the 2 individuals selected to carry in the banners. If they're power lifters, they must physically be present at that time and be checked in at 8:30, or the possibility exists they will not be included in the parade, although the delegation or the county program will be mentioned in the script, but that's in order to make sure that everyone's included in the ceremony script. The announcers have time to prepare and make sure that they've got all the information they need so we can proceed with the opening ceremony. So like I said, anybody who doesn't report by 8:30 will not be included in the parade, but we will include you as a county program in the script. And we don't have to wait till 8:30 to report those names. If you have them ahead of time, again, work with your area or county director and submit those names to either myself or the regional sports director. So here's basic layout of the campus at Mount St. Mary's. Powerlifting, again, same place in the Knott Arena, and it tells you about the other locations we have throughout the campus with the different sports and where the parking is. The one thing we did add, like I said earlier, was the Young Athletes Program, or the acronym YAP. That shows you where that is, down near the John J. Dillon Fieldhouse, down at the bottom right-hand screen, directing you towards the actual fieldhouse. So, again, if you've never seen that or you have an opportunity, swing by. There's going to be an open house between about 10:15 to about 3 o'clock throughout the day. A cool thing to check out and support that program. And again, we talked about family hospitality. We talked about where that was in the Knott Arena upstairs. They will have some information on Special Olympics and other topics of interest for families. Just as a reminder, this is a location that is for family members, meaning mothers, fathers, siblings, etc., of the competing athletes. This is not a location for the athletes who are competing throughout the day. This is designated for families of the athletes or of the competitors. So again, we just like to keep that clean and allow the families to have their space and time to communicate and talk amongst themselves and ask specific questions that they can find answers to through Special Olympics. We also will have an evaluation survey. You'll see that in the event guide when you receive it. Please encourage everyone, yourselves, athletes, any partners you know from your county coming up to compete, family members. The more information we have from an evaluation perspective, the better we can continue to improve on our efforts for the future. So please take the time. It usually takes about 10 to 15 minutes at the most, just about 4 or 5 questions to get some basic feedback. But please let us know what you liked as well as what we can improve upon. So please take that seriously. We appreciate your feedback.
Thank you, Steve. All right, so for this year's competition, we have 67 athletes doing the bench press and then 64 in the deadlift and the combo. This is great for the combination because we're seeing an increase of about 15 athletes doing that this year. So we're really proud of that, and we hope that we can keep on growing the numbers for the 2018 season. For the competition registration, please send to me the following information: the area and county, first and last name, age and sex, and the opening, first lift for bench press and for deadlift, if it's applicable to the event they're competing in, as well as their body weight. Please try to get this to me by October 16th. The earlier the better. I will be thrilled to put it in if you send it to me by October 12th. So yeah, please make sure that you get that in. That way we can be as prepared as possible for your athletes to arrive for their weigh-in. This is just an example of what the competition registration looks like. If you do not have one, I will be sending it out tomorrow when I send out these slides as well as the recording, so there will be an extra copy for you. So our schedule for this year's powerlifting competition, it is tentative. This is what we're planning on right now, but I just ask you guys be a little bit flexible because sometimes things come up, so we'll try to keep it as much of this as possible. At 7:30, we're going to do the delegation check-in. At 8 a.m., the powerlifting weigh-ins will begin. They will be in the same area as last year, the male and female locker rooms in the ARC Arena. We will be having 2 of our management team members who are actually Mount St. Mary students. They are going to be running this. So we'll have a male and a female, and we'll make sure that this goes as quickly as possible so we can get your athletes back up there for opening ceremonies to begin. And then at 9, opening ceremonies should last until about 9:45. We are lucky that our competition is held exactly where opening ceremonies is, so you guys really don't have to move around too much unless you would like to. At 10 a.m., we're going to have a coaches meeting right in front of the stage. I will be leading that meeting as well as my student lead at Mount St. Mary's University, Alice, and also Steve Wood, who is our competition director for this year's event. We want competition to begin at 10:15. We're going to start with the bench press and do the deadlift in the afternoon once we finish all of the bench press athletes. So we're hoping to be done by 4 p.m. If we can get it earlier, that'd be great, but chances are with the amount of athletes we have, we're looking at about 4:30 until the final awards wrap up. So just an overview of the powerlifting venue, it is going to be the same as last year. Once you enter the field house, you have the stage right in front of you. On your left is the warm-up area and the staging area. So when it's your athlete, you know that they are going up soon. That is where we will take them, and then we'll lead them right up onto the stage. There will be plenty of seating for delegations during opening ceremony, and then that area is going to open up into a spectator viewing area once the powerlifting competition has started. And then on the right side, we have an additional viewing area for spectators. The only difference in the setup this year is on the stage. We are going to be having the heads for the platforms are going to be facing the opposite way as last year. So when the athlete walks up to the platform and they are looking straight at the back of the stage, that is the way they're going to lay down with their head closest to the end of the stage. Just a few reminders about the uniform. So we ask for a lifting suit, which is one-piece, full-length lifting suit of one-ply stretch material. If within their lifting suit, they need to have an undershirt, which also needs to be one-ply stretch material without any patches or padding. Men do not need to wear a lifting shirt, but we do require it for women when they perform the deadlift. For socks, knee socks need to be worn for the deadlift, and the shoes that we're looking for are trainers or powerlifting or weightlifting boots only. Please, nothing with a hard spike or elevated heel to it. The belt, it needs to be made of leather, vinyl, or nylon. It doesn't need to be worn, but you are able to wear this. Same with wraps. We don't require them to be worn, but a lot of athletes choose to wear a wrist wrap or a knee wrap. Please just keep them within these measurements so that they don't take up too much space and don't affect their lift. And we will be providing chalk for the athletes. So one of the biggest rules reminders is that everything is metric. We are trying to have a powerlifting competition that's comparable to what our athletes are going to see at USA Games. So we do have 2 athletes going this year, both from Howard County, Catherine Gress and Kenny Long. And we just want them to be in the right mindset and get all of our powerlifters in this mindset that they could go to a USA Games in the future and they would be comfortable with the competition and the way it's run. So that is why we are using the metric system. We are offering the standard bar, which is 20 kilograms, and there's also the option of the light bar, which is 15 kilograms, but that is for the bench press only. You cannot use that in the deadlift. For the bench press, the lifter is to assume the position on the bench and maintain that position during the entire lift. So once they begin, they can't switch the way that their feet are positioned or lift their head up or arch their back. Everything needs to stay the same for the entirety of the lift. After removing the bar from the racks, the lifter needs to wait with elbows locked for the chief referee signal. As soon as the chief referee gives that signal, they can begin their lift. One of the big causes for disqualification in the bench press comes from not following the chief referee signals, either starting too soon or finishing too soon. Some of the athletes get a little nervous and just decide to go for it. So please reiterate to them how important it is to make sure that we listen to what the chief referee says. Another cause of disqualification would be a change in the elected position after the start signal. This is what I was just talking about with them elevating their back off of the seat or moving their feet around. This will result in a disqualification, unfortunately. Also, there can't be any heaving or bouncing of the bar from the chest after it has been motionless. In addition to that, you cannot have an exaggerated uneven extension of the arms during the lift, and there can't be any downward movement of the bar. If the athlete is lifting up and they begin to slow down a little bit, that's fine as long as they are still going upwards. Once it starts to come down, that is when they will call that disqualification. Failure to press the bar to full arms extension is another reason why an athlete might disqualify. And contact with the bar of lifter between the chief referee signals is a big reason for this. We want to make sure that the athlete is actually completing the lift. So if need be, the spotter needs to grab the bar, that would count as a DQ. And the last 2 ways for disqualification in the bench press are deliberate contact with the bar and the bar rest uprights during the lift to make it easier on the athlete, as well as failure to comply with anything that was stated above. So the big things are just maintaining the position and continuing with the lift. For the deadlift, the bar is positioned horizontally in front of the lifter's feet, and then the lifter has the option of how they want to grip it. Whichever way your athletes feel comfortable is fine. The lifter is going to face the front of the platform, and once they complete the lift, the knees have to be locked into the straight position, and the shoulders need to be held erect so they are standing straight up, not pushed forward or not rounded at all. The chief referee signal is going to consist of the downward movement of the hand, and they will say down. Again, like with the bench press, please make sure that your athletes wait for these signals because that is how they are supposed to know when to go and when not to, so we want to avoid them getting disqualified. And any attempts to raise the bar or deliberate attempts to lift the bar shall count as an attempt. So please make sure that your athletes don't start unless they are ready to and they have received the signal from the chief referee. Very similar to the bench press, a major cause for disqualification is any downward movement, not having the correct posture, which is standing erect with shoulders up, and a failure to lock knees. Supporting the bar on the thighs is definitely a disqualification, and it may include a secondary bending of the knees and dropping of the hips. So this will really mess up their form. So just make sure that they don't stop it on their thighs, just because it may look like they are resting it on their thighs. Again, lowering the bar before receiving the chief referee signal is a cause for disqualification. That's probably the biggest thing, just having them pay attention to what the chief referee is saying. They know to not make them wait too long, so they should get it going pretty quickly. And a final way for disqualification in the deadlift is allowing the bar to return to the platform without maintaining control with both hands. So this is if they slam the bar down to the ground or they are standing upright and they just decide to drop it. That will count as a disqualification just because it's not necessarily good form for the athlete. And we are just trying to run a powerlifting competition that will mirror what they'll see at USA Games in Seattle. For the combination event, the athlete is required to compete in both the bench press and the deadlift, and that is how they qualify for their final score. You get the final score by adding the maximum weight that they got in both of the events. 3 unsuccessful attempts in any of the lifts will eliminate the lifter from a combination event. So if you have an athlete who has already completed their bench press and they are doing the combination event, however, they are unable to perform the deadlift with those 3 attempts, then they will just be in it for the bench press. Just a few more things. With results, they're going to be posted in the Knot Arena, and I will email you the results from the event the week following, most likely that Monday of that week. I'll try to get that out to you guys. If for some reason you need to file a protest, that needs to be done by the head coach from your delegation within 30 minutes of when the results are posted in the Knot Arena. It has to be the head coach. So I believe in powerlifting, all the head coaches will be around. So if you have an issue with that, you can come find me during the event and I can help you get to where you need to be. They need to go to the control center, which is right next door to us. We're in a great location. And they need to happen within 24 hours in the control center for an appeal of a protest. If you or any of your athletes or any delegation members have any special needs, please contact me as soon as possible just so I can prepare for them and we can make sure that we have the best environment for your delegations and that your athletes just have the greatest day possible. We will have medical services. They are going to be on site and moving around. So if there is a medical emergency, we will radio to them and get them over to our area right away. At this time, does anyone have any questions about the powerlifting competition or Fall Sports Festival in general?
Let's give a second here to see. Give them a reminder of how to ask a question.
So just a reminder, to ask a question, you just have to click the hand symbol and we can unmute your line, or you can type it into the question box, which is on the right side of your screen.
And just a reminder, it does look like everything's fine here. I'm not seeing any questions. So my computer just froze up. So let me pull up the attendees. With Brianna, Dan, Scott, and William or Bill, we appreciate everything you guys have done leading up to the event. Again, I don't see any questions at this time, so I will throw it back to Kendall for closing comments.
Thank you all for hopping on this webinar tonight. Like I said, I will make sure to send out the slides and this recording tomorrow just so it can get passed around to those who were unable to attend. And one thing just to kind of have on your radar, at the coaches meeting the day of the event, I'm going to be talking to you all about the potential addition of doing unified powerlifting. So when I send out this email, I'll include a little tidbit on what all that is, just so you can get started thinking about it and seeing if this is something that your program would be interested in doing. If you have any questions pop up or you need anything, please feel free to email me or give me a call. My email is included on this last slide, and my phone number is in all of my email signatures, but I can also send it out with you tomorrow for when I send everything else. So if at this time no one has any last questions or comments, I think we're all good to go. Thank you all for being on.
Thanks, everyone. And a reminder for your homework, you've got to send in the couple information pieces that Kendall was asking for your athletes. and then talk with other coaches and or your county director if you have anybody you want to invite or have go through the selection process to carry in the banner for your county program. Let your area director know, and we'll go from there.